Yesterday, I was on a call with a couple of people, and one of these individuals and I started talking about the reason that there was fears about jumping full time into his business, even though he was amazing at his 9 to 5. He was doing really well on the business side. And it started to become this: what is the thing that's holding you back from where you want to go? As somebody who works with high achievers, I see this all the time. This is something that becomes this hindrance for people of, I know what I need to do. I have the checklist. I know that it's possible because I've done it for other people. I've built out stuff for other people. I've made $1 million for other people. I've gotten the sales of X, Y, and Z. And I see this in the entrepreneur side, but I also see it in my corporate client side when I'm working with high achieving managers, leaders, executives who are really trying to get to that next level of what they're trying to do in their life, their career, or their business. And what we find is not that it's anything that you're doing. These are scripts that are running in your brain on autopilot without your permission that you just keep saying to yourself. This might be, I'm not worthy of that job promotion. I'm not good enough to move to that next thing. I don't have what it takes to move towards this next piece of my life. And you are the one who has been having these things replay in your head because it's in your subconscious. And I know that there's a lot of people in the space that talk about mindset. And so a lot of my high achievers are like, yeah, okay, mindset, cool. But what does that really mean? And how does that work? And I don't want to get into this manifesting woo woo craziness that people talk about. And so this is where the brain based approach comes in. As a certified neuro coach, I walk my clients through this idea of, how do we get rid of those synapses that we've created in our brains that are replaying that loop of, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, I don't have what it takes, as well as many others. If there's something that you're like, I keep trying to get to that next level and I feel like I'm holding myself back, or I'm self sabotaging, or nothing seems to be working. I'm doing all the right things, but I'm not seeing the results that I need to be seeing. Then there's probably something subconsciously that's holding you back from where you want to go. So, what are some of the ways that when you're stuck, you get past those? One of those is obviously getting into neuro coaching and having a conversation with me. But some things that you can do right now, one of the things that I have to do is shock my system. So, if you're in therapy, or you're doing anything that's talking to a professional counselor or therapist, one of the things that they'll tell you is that it's this idea of getting yourself out of that moment, because this can feel like a lot of overwhelm. One of the ways that you can do that is by getting up, walking away from your desk. Another way that you can consider is putting your hands in a really, really cold water, or getting an ice pack and putting it on the back of your neck where your vagus nerve is. Because what this does is it pops you out of that mindset and puts you back in your body. Because when we start to get overwhelmed or spiral or feel like we can't do that next thing, or you find yourself doing everything else except for the thing that you need to be doing, like scrolling on your phone, doing tasks that don't necessarily lead to where you need to be going towards that goal that you're trying to achieve in your business or on your team or for your career, then that's when we need to start rethinking what that looks like. So, trying some of these things of putting your hands under cold water, putting that ice pack on the back, sitting down and journaling. I fight with people on this one, is journaling at least a couple times a week, so that way you can see the progress. What am I thinking to myself? What are the things that I'm saying to myself regularly? What are the pieces of this that I'm consistently seeing as a pattern in myself, so I can go, oh, is this something that I want to keep telling myself? Is this the pattern that I want to keep seeing? Or do I want to change something? It makes us more aware of those constant thoughts that we're having, because there's thoughts being repeated in your head over and over and over again that you're not even conscious of. And we know this from the science. So if we know that our brain is working against us in some ways, how do we start getting it to work for us? And that's what I work with my clients on. So if this is something that's interesting to you, and you're wanting to learn more about this process for yourself, your leaders, or your full team, I would love to have a conversation with you. You can either pop your questions in the DMs, or you can pop a comment here and let me know, what are some of the things that you're struggling with? Is it imposter syndrome? Is it feeling like you can't get to that next step? As a high achiever, a lot of times it's really hard for us to admit that we need help. I'm guilty of this, of saying, hey, I'm in a spot and I need that little extra push to get me to the next level. Or, hey, I'm getting overwhelmed by all these things and I shouldn't be, because I feel like I know what to do. And there's a lot of times you do know what to do. You absolutely have everything that it takes inside of you to get to that next thing. And sometimes we just need to take those puzzle pieces, rearrange them a little bit, and give you a better plan that doesn't feel like, oh my gosh, the sky is falling. Because when we get our systems into fight or flight, then all of a sudden we can't get the things done that we need to do. And your brain is there to protect you. But sometimes that protection ends up keeping us in the same spot instead of moving us towards thriving. So, those are the kinds of conversations that I'd love to be having with you. And feel free to pop questions in the comments and let's open a conversation of, what are the things that you are struggling with? What are some of the things that you'd love to see yourself move forward in 2025, so you can start seeing the results that you want to see in your life, in your business, and in your career, so that you can live the life that you truly want to live. I will see you all tomorrow.